straight losses
Georgia
on the
played
West Coast
against.
swing
You know
this
what the
year.
funny thing is?
They
You called
they
that. If
employ
you
their
saw
three tight ends
our
which
previous
they didn't
show
do against Alabama
and their tight ends are like they all did definitely monsters. They're like
Yep.
six,
they can go
six,
0
seven, six.
And good evening, everybody. We are coming at you live here on this is Tuesday,
Yeah, Tuesday evening.
Tuesday evening, which is kind of unusual for us. We got little sidetracked and stuff over the weekend. We went out. We actually we can get into what we did over the weekend, but
Right.
we were busy over the weekend, so we didn't have the chance to jump on and record for y'all. But we wanted to, get a show out before the Super Bowl and go over everything that's been going on this week, everything to come. It's a pretty busy week in the sports world and in the world in general. So we'll see where this talk leads us here. But like I said, we wanted to jump on and touch on a few things here. So good evening to you, your family, everybody else out here joining us. Thank you first and foremost, and please like, subscribe, and spread the word about us. We're trying to grow this thing here. The Twitter's picking up some steam, so we'll see how things continue to go here. But all that aside, I'm going to go ahead and kick things over to Harish to get us started here. I think we're going to start off with some NBA talk.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's really weird because the trade deadline's on Thursday, right? That's the final day to have all the trades kind of finalized before you start you kind of mixing and matching players and stuff. The biggest, in my opinion, there's two trades that happened, or two big trades that happened. First was Portland trading CJ McCollum to the Pelicans, and the Pelicans giving, I mean, they're destroying that team just by this trade alone. I mean, I don't want to use profanity, but like
I've got it up here. Let me see what the official pieces. So New Orleans is receiving McCollum, Larry Nance, and Tony Snell. I didn't even know Tony Snell was still in the league. But Portland is getting back Josh Hart, Satoransky. I like Satoransky.
Yeah.
Alexander Walker, he's pretty good. And Didi Luzada, I've heard his name, couldn't tell you anything about him. They're also getting, Portland's getting a first round pick. It's protected. Yes. That's pretty big. And two future second round picks. So this is another one of those trades, like the one we were talking about earlier today. We were texting. I can't tell who won. So you keep going, but keep trying to piece this together.
For me, Portland got the better end of the deal. They literally got better end of the deal because you're trading, because the Pelicans gave up so much to get so little. Like CJ McCollum, he's a good player. He's 30 years old. And to have him in your backcourt with your other starter, and Satoransky is a great point. I like Satoransky as a point guard. He's improved his game.
Satoransky.
Yeah, and I didn't want him to leave the Wizards when he was here. He just never had the opportunity to play. And I believe if we had him today, I think it would have been a lot better. But here, I digress. We'll get into that later on in the show. But I think the Pelicans are doing a disservice to their own franchise by doing this trade. CJ McCollum is a good player, but I think he's a little bit past his prime. He's not going to, and without Zion and without any other players on that team to step up, why make the trade? I mean, you're literally bargaining the future now. You already traded away everybody. So at the end of the day, like don't make a trade just because you have to make a trade. You know what I'm saying? Like be conscious of what you have and then say, does this player get us to that next level? And I don't think CJ McCollum does get you to that next level. And you're trading away quality players and a first round pick. I mean, at the end of the day, that's a heavy price to pay for CJ McCollum. That's just me, and I'm going to end it like that.
No, yeah, I mean, it is. Like I said, I can't really figure out who the winner is here. McCollum, surprisingly enough to me, I know he missed a whole bunch of games due to the collapsed lung. And he's recently come back here. But on the season, he's averaging about 20 points a game. I had no idea. With him missing so much action, and Portland being so bad, I didn't know what was going on up there. Larry Nance, he's a solid player too. So the Blazers are getting two solid pieces there, and then Snell is just the utility guy. You need somebody to eat up some minutes. He can come in and do that. But you're getting some pieces there. The Zion scenario, I mean, I don't know what to make of what's going on with him. I don't know if he'll ever play again. Who knows? He might have eaten himself out of the league from the accounts of the reports we're hearing about where his weight is. Now, I hope not. I hope his mental health is good with all the the hate he's receiving online and all that stuff. Hope he's blocking all that stuff out. Being young, it might be hitting home though. I hope not though. Just praying for the best for him. But so New Orleans is getting those pieces. Hard to say if that's going to help them do anything in the West. The West is brutal this year.
Yeah.
I can't see them being a playoff team at the end of it. Maybe they'll surprise me. Maybe McCollum will make that his team, and who knows? But on the other side of it, Alexander Walker's decent, but Portland is obviously in full-on tank mode. That's why they're getting the picks there. Satoransky, who knows? They'll probably buy him out, or maybe they'll use him to just continue their tank. Their season is hopeless and over. It's a bad look for Chauncey Billups. Shouted out his brother earlier for getting the job there, but they might not be there too much longer. Who knows? It sucks because Mr. Big Shot, I've always been a Chauncey fan. I hate to see the way things are played out there. Man, this team had some pieces.
They did.
I wish he could have brought it all together, but
sometimes it's just difficult. Like it's just sometimes, like as a coach, you just get the short stick, right? You just pick the short straw and you just have to deal with what you have. And sometimes when you get too desperate, things like these happen. And that's unfortunate. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah. And they've sold off Powell, which I felt like they never should have picked up. They had Gary Trent in the fold there. Probably would have held on to him. Pretty good young talent. And he's thriving out there in Portland. Yeah. But you've still got a Corin Lillard. You've still got a young piece in Simons who's going to be a star. I mean, no question about that. You've got Nurkic still, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't try to move him. I mean, if they do try to move him, not at the deadline, might be too much to ask there, but maybe in the offseason. He's a big guy. I like his game, but he doesn't really fit what they're trying to do. So, really two teams in transition here. New Orleans is kind of hung up with the Zion situation. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But there was another move too with the Pacers. You can go ahead and get us started with that too.
Okay, the Pacers and the Sacramento Kings. Like, I thought the Pacers pulled a fast one. In all honesty, I thought they got a raw end of the deal. But when I actually read what they got and how they got it and what Sacramento gave up, I was like, man, Sacramento did the same thing as the Pelicans did. They did stupid moves. I mean, why would you give up your entire young talent? Like Halliburton, I mean, is it Halliburton or Hiliburton? I don't know how to pronounce
Halliburton,
it. It's Halliburton. You're giving up a 21-year-old who's improved every year, and he can play the shooting guard and the point guard. He can play both guard positions, and you're giving him up. And you're giving up, you get some bonus in return. You're getting like that instant starter, but you're waiting the future. And Buddy Hield, they could have held on to Buddy Hield and got a better thing for him instead of trading like with the Indiana Pacers, because both teams are not going anywhere. I don't think, right? I think they're still like in the bottom, or I just don't remember if
because the Wizards are doing so bad. I was going to say I feel like Indiana might be down there with them. Not quite sure. I don't think they're in a playoff picture for this year, but I could be completely off base with that.
Yeah.
Sacramento, I think, is languishing down there near the bottom too. Yeah. And like you were getting at, I don't really know. I mean, if I'm Sacramento, I'm holding on to Halliburton, but I guess maybe they saw something they didn't like there. He's a young star, and he's going to continue to improve. I said McCollum can make the Pelicans his team. Halliburton's going to make the Pacers his team. He's going to thrive in the East, and I think he'll have them being a contender. Like you said about Buddy Hield, he's one of the top 3-point shooters in the league and has been his whole career. So they probably could have gotten more in return for him. And for Indy to just, for me, if I wasn't running things there and I saw that this roster that they have wasn't working, I'm blaming the coach for that, because they have some good pieces. They had some good pieces, and Sabonis, LeVert, T.J. Warren's been hurt all year, but some rookie guard, I brought up his name last year. I can't pull it right now though, but they had a lot of good talent there, and now they're blowing it up. I don't see. I guess if you feel like you can't win it all, you just got to do something drastic.
Yeah, but I wish the Wizards. It's like this, right? Like transitioning into the Wizards. Like, if you can't see, the thing is, what are you gonna see in the future if you're going nowhere, right? What's the point in trading? What's the point in trading? Just I hate to use the word tank, but you should just tank and get a better draft position and then trade. And then
that's why this one doesn't make sense. that's exactly why this move doesn't make sense to me. If
Mm-hmm.
you're going to tank, if you're going to blow it up and tank, don't bring back pieces like Hield and Halliburton. If you're going to tank, bringing those guys in is going to keep you right where you were. You're
Mm-hmm.
not tanking at that point. Sabonis, you could have kept Sabonis. He's been hurt a lot. You
Right.
probably would have tanked harder with him being out of the roster most of the time. But you're giving up Holiday and Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
Lamb is okay. Holiday, I don't, whatever.
His, his elder brother's better, right? The one on the Milwaukee
Yeah,
Bucks.
Drew is the beast.
Drew's good. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and Aaron is here in DC.
yeah. See,
But go
that's
ahead.
so the thing is that's transitioning into the Wizards now, right? Like because now with Bradley Beal, like, that was a surprise news to me. Like I was kind of shocked about that. That wrist injury was a lot severe than they were leading on, and now he's out for the year. That hurts us. That hurts the Wizards tremendously now because you don't have a chip to play. So I was thinking, since Satoransky went to Portland, bring Satoransky back to the Wizards in a player kind of deal. Like, because Satoransky's, I mean, we need another point guard. Like, we just need a scoring point guard. And Satoransky's proven that he can score. So trade Bertans, trade maybe Holiday, trade like someone else, maybe a 3-player trade, and get back like maybe Satoransky and someone else and get some cash or do something because you have to unload salaries anyway. And if you can't trade Beal this year, you're going to trade him next year or he's going to walk. I mean, either or he's going to walk. So you have to say that's a sunk cost. You're not going to re-sign him. And I don't think he's going to come back here. He really isn't. So you just have to play with what you got and I think you should start adding the pieces now. Like you should start adding the pieces now for the future because the Wizards, the crazy thing is about the Wizards positioning in the East, they're not at the head of the pack. They're not at the lower pack. They're at the bottom 3. So they could literally get into that play-in game if they get the right pieces now at the trade deadline. But this is going to make this is like the number 2 thing that Tommy Shepard is going to be like if he wants to become like the master GM or something that people look up to or kind of have the blueprint or the playbook for how to get pieces. This is going to test his fortitude in this trade deadline. If he doesn't make a move, then I'm just going to call him who was the previous Wizards GM that got fired? Ernie. I'm going to call him Ernie 2.0 if you don't do anything because he can literally see this team is not like going anywhere.
Yeah, and with the Beal thing, it puts the Wizards in a position where I think it hurts them in a way that can help them. What it does for their season is there's not really somebody you can bring in to save this season for them unless, like we were kicking this around earlier, bringing in Westbrook. Who knows how realistic or unrealistic that is, but it hurts them to the point where they can embrace the tank fully here. Just go ahead and sell off any piece that can get back any kind of pick or anything for it. Time to go full on process mode, in my opinion. And I think this does test Tommy's fortitude here to go ahead and sell that to the fan base. Say, just obviously this team was going nowhere anyway. You got guys who out there last night. Then look, they really cared about basketball. Look like they hate each other as a team. Yep. So just get them out of here. I mean, with Beal being out, it's time to stop worrying about getting the play-in game. First of all, that's not going to happen now. Secondly, just it's time. Blow it up. Yeah. Get a nice first-round pick to couple with Beal next year because the thing his injury does with the contract coming up, it puts them in a position where they can't really evaluate the roster going into the next year with him in it and saying, okay, can we go anywhere with this guy? Do we want to give him that super max deal? I think they're gonna hang on to him and give him that. And then they can get a high draft pick to pair with him next year. And maybe capture a free agent to get them around 7 or 5, 6 seed instead of playing game territory next year. This is a chance for them to suck so they can grow, in my opinion.
Now the question begs to differ, right? Does he want to be here? Number one, because the
difference in the deals, and it's not there comes a point when it's not about whether you want to be here. That money, and I know he's rich, but it's 4 years 240 or 4 years 180. I mean, that's the difference. Signing here or signing somewhere else. So that's a drastic difference.
Yeah.
I think if he had his choice, he would want to stick around, probably finish his career.
Man, that's
240 versus 180. I mean,
I mean, at that end of the day, that's like generational to the generational wealth. Like he's
Yeah.
already have generationally. This is like this sets his like his kids financially. I mean, I'll put it this way: it's almost like Bix, does Ted Leonsis? Do we need an owner, because Ted owns the Caps too? Do we need an owner just to focus just on the Wizards? Because there's been reports in the past that his time split between the two teams, he kind of favors the Caps a little bit more than the Wizards. So at the end of the day, kind of begs is who's going to run the Wizards as the leader, as a CEO or who the owner would be, and then are we going to kind of see a refresh from the top down? Because
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair thing to put out there because Kroenke, Stan Kroenke, the guy who owns the Rams, right? He owns the Nuggets too, but his son runs the Nuggets. Like he's not involved in all the day to day behind that, and that there probably needs to be a separation there between the two for Leontis. It might be too much on his plate. Results are certainly starting to bear that out. Maybe even on both sides because the Caps, after the Cup win, they haven't really sniffed it since. So maybe he needs to take some responsibilities off his plate. I think his kids are too young to probably get involved, but maybe he has a trusted friend in there somewhere, something to take some responsibilities off of him because obviously it's not working. Something different needs to be done with the Wizards, and then maybe that would allow him to focus more on the Caps and rebuild that ship, get them going in the right direction again. I think what you bring up there is fair.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I'm seeing the results, and the results are not happening. And
No.
yeah, I mean, and I also think that we need to give Wes Unseld another year. I mean, at the end of the day,
I give him a half a year.
But I mean, there's something. I just feel that this team has the talent. I just think they're not getting. Like, I think they're too. What's the word I want to use? I don't want to say selfish because they're not selfish. Because if they were selfish, they wouldn't be scoring 20 points a game. But I just think they're just. I think they're just playing in the system. Like, I know that's weird to say. I think they're thinking more than reacting. Like I think they're thinking too much. Like, oh, okay, I see this. I have to do this, and I have to do this, and this. They're not just saying, okay, it's not a reactionary position that they're doing. They're just overthinking what they need to do, and that's when the fights happen because lack of defense is there. You can see it. Lack of offensive productivity. I mean, yesterday there was a play where like everybody was just standing around on the 3-point line where Dinwiddie was rushing to the ball, and you had 4 players in the paint. You're not going to score on that. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure that out. So
yeah, they were starting to struggle before everybody came back, and we were like, once they get everybody back here, they'll right the ship. But with everybody coming back, they've gone from bad to worse. And what's really gotten worse is not their depth or anything like that, or the level of talent. What's gotten worse since everybody has come back is their chemistry. They have zero chemistry. I don't know if they just don't have time to practice and get it together, but I've never seen any team on any level in any sport in the history of all, since I've been watching sports, have as poor a chemistry on the court as this team has. And that really comes down to coaching. It can't come down to personnel too and just a lack of maturity. I know Dinwiddie said guys told him to shut up when they tried to stand up being a leader in the locker room. And but like I said to that, he hadn't really earned that position yet because he's playing like butt. When you're playing like butt, nobody's going to listen to you.
True.
So he can play better. The team can do better with the coach can do better with the chemistry, but also get the guys who came in late and screwed everything up. Get them out of here like it's time. Like you can get 2nd round picks for these guys. You can move Rui for a 2nd round pick. You can move Bryant for a 2nd round pick. You can move Bertans for a piece of pizza. Whatever you want to get for him, I'll take it. Just you got to like. It's time. It's time to blow it up.
That's true.
The back's up against it. It's the deadline here. Let's get something going.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess we just have to play the waiting game because Thursday is far away, but it can come very close.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Now let's transition into the NFL and all the I wouldn't say hoopla, but very serious conversations that need to happen around the blind forest situation and the Rooney Rule. I have my takes on it, but I want to pass it to you first to see, what you feel and what can be changed or what can be done and how the NFL is handling the situation.
Yeah, I know you think the Rooney Rule is a joke, and I've seen people say that, and I've heard that, and I think I know the way you mean it is not the way most people mean it. And that's why I want to just put some context behind that. When you say it's a joke, you mean like the way that it's not really enforced as a joke, not the rule itself.
No.
And being that I know you, I know that you're not saying, making these teams interview black candidates is, haha, that's a joke, whatever. Don't even make them do that. It's the way the teams are handling the situation is definitely a joke. I stand behind you 100% on that, firmly in your corner on that, because it flat out is. They don't respect the process. They waste guys' time bringing them in, showing up drunk to the interview and didn't take it seriously. I know that that kind of stuff is going on. And just these are grown men who deserve better than that. Guys who have really earned their place in this league, like a Brian Flores, who has 18 years of coaching experience. One of the teams he was interviewing with was interviewing a former quarterback who has his coaching experience is high school. So you've got that versus 18 years of NFL experience, and there was even a competition. Like, how is that even close?
Yeah.
How are you? How the only reason the candidacy is close on either end is because race plays a factor there. Otherwise, if it's two white dudes and you're looking at one's experience and the other guy's getting laughed out of the room. That's not even a serious consideration. If they're both black, the same thing is happening. But when you got black versus white, that levels the playing field for those two guys in the eyes of the people interviewing them. What that all comes down to is there's no black ownership. There's few black people in the hiring positions. Thankfully, my guy Champ Kelly here got hired in LA, so he's going to be in a position to make some of these sorts of decisions. And big shout out to him. Like, if you've never heard of Champ Kelly, this dude, he's been like, he played arena ball. From there, he went into the front office after he retired in arena. He's been grinding ever since then. He went from there to look where he is now, since the gym in LA. If you don't believe hard work pays off, let me show you an example of the American dream. Champ Kelly, this dude, I met his family in Denver. His wife Stephanie, he has three kids now. Girl dad, shout out. This dude, he's a grinder. He had to work twice as hard to get what he got versus what dudes who don't look like him get. So hard work certainly pays off. It paid off for him, and he's going to keep. I mean, he's a superstar. You'll hear his name if you don't know it yet. You'll hear it soon. But what I'm saying about, you have to work twice as hard to get what some guys didn't work at all for. Like, that's what it takes when you're black in the NFL. And there's a lot more I could say, but I'll cut it there so you can go in and give your piece, and then maybe I'll jump in again at the end.
Yeah,
go ahead and give me your thoughts on it too.
Yeah, see, the thing with me is, like, the Rooney Rule was instituted 20 years ago because there wasn't enough representation of minorities, and that's okay. That's fine. Okay, if you want to bring in minorities,
do you know the stat before the rule was instituted? How many black coaches there were?
There was zero, actually. If I remember, there was no.
I mean, there was.
I mean,
I know you brought up Art Shell before.
Yeah, but
Art Shell,
and he was like, was he a full time? Was he
when
like
did Tomlin start?
Tomlin started, I think, in the late 90s, I think.
No, it was 2000 something. Because
I'm sorry, no, because
Cowher was there.
Yeah, Cowher was right. I'm sorry, Cowher retired in 2004, 4-ish or 5-ish. One of the. When was the Steelers last Super Bowl? That's the one.
Tomlin started in. I'm on his wiki page. Let's see.
Yeah.
2007. That was before the Rooney Rule. There must have been one black head coach, Art Shell.
Yeah, and what's really upsetting to me is I don't like people who already made a decision and call people in for interviews. That's just the worst. That's not what the Rooney Rule is supposed to do. It's supposed to give fair advantages to anybody and everything. It's supposed to be a fair playing field, but obviously it's not. And that's why I get really ticked off when you go in and they're wasting your time. And at the end of it, that's sheer and utter disrespect. That's why I think the rule should just be like gone and have something else in place, or just say, okay, just go through a regular hiring process. Don't name a rule just for somebody to go. If you're the best candidate for the job, go get it. But don't say, oh, we're helping minorities advance in the NFL when you're not. Like, it's just sickening to me when I heard that, number one, because as a minority, we have to work twice as hard as anybody else in certain areas of our field, just to prove to the other individuals when it comes to sports, when you go into management positions or coaching positions, it is twice as hard for us to do anything. And I'm not saying I'm not preaching or whatever. It's just that it's just there because they don't think that you could do it. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what's the frustrating part is that this shows it because it's clear utter disrespect. If I walked into an interview and the interviewer was drunk, I would just leave. I'm like, I'm not wasting my time here. I don't care for this job because if they are having that much disrespect to me, what else can they do when they hire me? What else other like BS that can go on behind the scenes that they're not even telling you about? And at the end of the day, are they setting you up for failure? They'll say, "Oh, we'll hire you as the head coach, but get you a really bad GM or get you a hard-headed, maybe they tell the owner, hey, we just wanted him just to do whatever." But winning cures all, they say. But at the end of the day, how much do you want to take? Like at the end of the day, like if you're not represented properly in the sense that if you don't get the fair opportunity to do your job, then that's not fair. And the NFL needs to take a hard look at what really is happening because there's a lot of good coaches out there that are not getting the respect that they should get. And at the end of the day, you can't just come up with a rule that says, "Oh, this is the rule and please follow it." There's loopholes to everything, and they literally found a loophole to this. Sorry, I'm a little bit heated on this subject, so I'm gonna ping pong it back to you.
No, you said they're usually set up to fail, and that's absolutely right. When Miami brought in Flores, he's saying now that they wanted to pay him to lose games. He didn't take him up on that, obviously, because he had some success despite that horrific situation. When he was brought in there, I knew when they hired him that they brought him in because they knew they were going to fire him quickly because they expected to lose games. It was a team in turmoil, just a terrible owner, a terrible organization, no better than what we have here. And the fact that he succeeded made them fire him even more quickly than they probably would have because he screwed up their plans. They wanted him to lose quickly so that they could fire him quickly. Then they wanted to get some high draft picks and try to rebuild that way. He ruined their plans, so they fired him anyway. Same deal with Cully down in Houston. He didn't ruin their plans because they lost. But I knew when they hired him because I never heard of the dude. I know he's been in the league for like 30-something years. And when they brought him in there, like out of nowhere, that was shocked everybody. You knew what was going to happen there. One and done. Everybody expected that. And the only reason they hired Lovey is because they knew if they hired Josh McCown, the dude I was talking about earlier with no experience, they knew if they hired him with everything going on now, like the fans would have burned. Well, the black fans probably would have burned that stadium to the ground, something, because you can't do that after what's been going on this week.
And I think Lovie Smith is the right coach for Houston. I think he's the right.
Flores would have been the right coach. Lovie Smith he's not a good coach. I think his college, like he did horrible in college.
Yeah.
I don't expect him to do well there. And they probably expect him to lose so they can get some more high draft picks. Maybe he'll surprise them. Maybe he'll surprise everybody. Of course, I root for his success.
But when you look at bring back Marvin Lewis,
I don't know how simpatico they are. Lovey is a defensive coach, so I think he'd probably want to do his own thing. But who knows? Marvin Lewis deserves another shot. He wants to get back into head coaching, so it'd be nice to get him, see him get on, land somewhere in the league. But yeah, with the situation there with Anthony Lynn, and San Diego and LA, with who was there before Kingsbury in Arizona?
What was that? Was it? It was the Tampa Bay coach. It was Arians. Was it Arians?
Okay. I thought they had a black dude for a year. I could be wrong. I could be completely making that up. But my point is, the black coaches, they're given a much shorter. I'm not going to say leash because I'm not comparing black coaches to animals. I don't think that's fair. I'm going to say they're given a much shorter time frame than white coaches, and then they let they bring them into horrible situations. They lose. They get a high draft pick. Then they bring in a white coach in with the high draft pick. They want to succeed. Like it's the way they handle things. It's not fair. It's not right. The NFL is supposedly going to investigate ways to make things better. We'll see how that goes. I don't think they'll really do anything unless an outside entity steps in, like the government or something. I don't really expect that either because, at the end of the day, the dollars and cents, that's what talks. So
I always say this to people, man, when you got a ton of money, you got some people in your pocket. I mean, I'm going to say it because let's go to my beloved Washington Commanders.
Last show we had, they hadn't chosen the name yet. So now we can't officially call them the Commanders.
Yes.
I think we all kind of called that.
Yeah, we did. And the funny thing is, with the investigations that are going on with Dan Snyder and the sexual harassment charges and what were brought up against him, the Senate committee hearing was like, we're not, like it's up to Dan Snyder or whatever, or the NFL, the investigation. I always say this: when you got deep pockets, you got people who you scratch your back. You probably scratch their backs too. And they're like, you know what? He helped me out with this. We're not going to release this. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that no one knows about. And I'm pretty sure certain of that stuff does happen, but that's here nor there. That's like that's not what we talk about, because that's not that's not what I want to talk about, because or what Dale, because choosing the name, I have a few three kind of things. Number one, the Commanders, I mean, it's good, but it's not great. It's like when they changed the name from the Bullets to the Wizards. I like it. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'm just like, whatever. It is there. And then if you want to reveal, if you don't want anybody to see it, put a huge curtain on the name. So a news.
What do you expect? What do you expect from this organization? I mean, this organization.
True.
What do you expect?
And the worst part was when they were revealing the name, everybody was so like, there was no organization, which tells me it comes from the top. When you're doing this for 2 years, you should have had, okay, we're going to call these players, these players, these players. This is where you stand. This is where I stand. This is what you have to say, organize. It's not that hard. And to get the Super Bowls wrong on the jersey, you got to be out of your, I just can't even fathom. I was like, what? I was like, Jason Wright, what do they pay you for? This was your baby, and you dropped it. You screwed up royally. And I don't care what he says about, fans, this, that. You have to take responsibility. Okay? You just got to. You can't. And you printed jerseys, and you printed attire with those things on there. That's a slap in all old school head, like fans like us. It's a slap in our face. That's okay.
Yeah, so with the name, the name is like, I will compare the name to Papa John's Pizza. Papa John's Pizza is my least favorite pizza, but I love pizza. So it's the name. It's a name. It's probably my least favorite name, but it's still pizza. Papa John's is still pizza. I'll still eat it. The name it's a name. I'll support them with their new name. It's there. Mm-hmm. It's not. They could have done better. The uniforms, though, I don't. The white one is fine. The black one, it's an alternative uniform. I don't really care about that. The burgundy one, though, I don't dig it. I don't. What do you think of that one? I don't.
So when they had the alter, I was like, why are they taking the Steelers jerseys and altering the Steelers jerseys for the black one? I was like, that's Steelers pretty much. Black and gold is Steelers. That's not the Washington Red. That's not the Washington Commanders or whatever. The burgundy and gold, that is the staple of our team. You're ruining that name. Even though you said you want to keep the colors, you didn't keep the colors. If that was a darker burgundy and a gold stripe coming down, boy, that would have been fire. That would have been fire. Like a dark burgundy, like how they had like a darker red. If they had that shade a little darker and a red stripe, a golden stripe, that would have been fire. But unfortunately, they didn't hire us to do their design and marketing stuff. So they failed once again. They better win, man.
And that will cure everything. That if they win next season, I will be singing "Hail to the Commanders." I might get a Commanders jersey, But and then that Papa John's will turn into my favorite Pizza Hut, So that cures everything, whether or not the team is successful. So we'll see.
Do we have a special guest coming
on? You want to take a quick break here, and I'll see what's going on with that. And we can jump back on in about 10 minutes or so. So you can go ahead and take us to break. And we are back, everybody. We just had to take a quick break there. We're going to get a guest schedule for a different show. I was checking to see if he was going to come on tonight, but we can just get that scheduled, and we can give you all some lead up into it and introduce it the right way. And so what were we talking about there before we took break?
The name, the Commanders, and
pizza comparisons.
Pizza comparison, yeah.
That's me. For me, it all goes back to pizza.
Yeah, hey, ain't it wrong with that, man? Like, you have, if you had your favorite pizza, it won't be the Commanders.
No. But I'm trying to change my ways here. As we spoke about before the show, trying to make some better choices here and get this COVID weight off so I can get back to what I used to be,
Yeah.
So give me 2 weeks and I'll be myself again.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And I'll join you right with you. I may not be able to get back to
We
where
got this. 2022. We got
2022. That is our year. But I mean, let's kind of look into now that since the Super Bowl is coming up on Sunday, and no one. I mean, I didn't expect the Bengals to make the Super Bowl. I mean, there were. I think out of all the Super Bowls I've seen, I think they're one of the most surprised teams to run the gauntlet like that. And the Rams, even though they had their highs and lows, I did pick them, and I had not picked them, and I picked them again. So I was seesawing back between the Rams and the Bengals. I mean, the Rams like making it, not making it, and I'm saying, okay, they're gonna make it again. They made the Super Bowl, but there's a lot of holes in their. There's a lot of like holes in their schemes and their systems that they're playing, and I think with the Bengals coming on a hot streak, it's going to be one of the greatest Super Bowls ever. I think it's going to be a back and forth Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a surprising Super Bowl, but I'll let Dale take it from there to see who he's going to pick and why, and I'll chime in after that.
Well, I am big on the Rams to win this game, and it's for one reason only: their pass rush. The Bengals gave up 9 sacks to the Titans. The Titans' pass rush is not the Rams' pass rush. The Rams have Von Miller, they have Leonard Floyd, they have Aaron Donald, they have some guys that some other pieces in there I haven't even named who can get after it. I fully expect them to get after Burrow, make his life a living, on Sunday.
Nightmare.
I think that's just going to be too much for them. And then their scheme, they haven't been run heavy, but they can be because McVay runs an offshoot of Shanahan's offense. So once they get after Burrow, get enough of a lead in place, they can just cement the game with Akers, assuming he holds on to the ball. But then if by some reason it does become a shootout, they have the pieces. They're a little weak at quarterback, but they have Odell Beckham. They have Cooper Kupp. They have Higbee. I mean, if it's a shootout, I pick them. If it's not, I pick them. I just think they have too many pieces. The Bengals is a good story, but they don't have enough. I make one big bet a year. This is going to be that one, and it's all going in the Rams.
So I know I picked the Rams to win the entire Super Bowl. Like from the beginning of the season, I was like, the Rams are going to win. The Rams are going to win. And I kind of drew back on the gas pedal a little bit. For this game, I agree with you. It's going to be the Rams defensive line against the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. If the Rams get 9 sacks, this game's over. Even 3-4 sacks, this game's over because they'll clamp down because their secondary is stout. Their secondary is really stout. You have
by Eric Weddle.
Yeah, and Eric Weddle. And then you have, their linebackers are solid. So Jamar Chase will be taken out of this game. I guarantee you Jamar Chase is going to be taken out of this game because they're going to double him. And the Rams,
they don't need to. They shouldn't need to.
They shouldn't need to. Ramsey, but the thing is, it's Jamar Chase. You see what I'm saying? It's Jamar Chase.
Ramsey has seen everything.
That's true. So. That's true. And I always call it because I even said in the Cincinnati, it's the Jamar Chase effect. Like he finds a way to get open. So if you take him out, then you have to have the other players. And I think that this may come into play. They may get a little bit anxious. They may get a little bit nervous. Because it's the big show, After this, it's done. You don't play another game. So,
but Stafford certainly hasn't been in a situation this big. So we'll see how he holds up under the pressure.
So I'm picking the Rams to win by 3. It's going to be a very close game because what proved to me,
you're taking the Bengals with the points.
Yes, I'm taking Bengals with the points because Joe Burrow, his mind is very different than any quarterback I've ever seen in my entire life. Like. Against that Tennessee defense, he got sacked 9 times, and he still came back and won the game. I mean, he wasn't.
I think Tennessee lost it, but
no, hands down, Tennessee. The coaching for Tennessee lost that game, hands down. We agree on that point. But to get hit like that and still win the game, his mental toughness has to be off the charts. But the problem is Tennessee doesn't have an Aaron Donald or a Von Miller or the third guy,
Leonard Floyd.
Leonard Floyd. Those guys, I mean, there's some tough. They're very tough sons of guns, and when they hit you, they hit you. It's not like, oh, okay, patty cake. No, I mean, so
I'm just looking at Twitter here to see if any moves happen while we're on the show. I don't see anything new.
Did anything like?
No, but
so nothing.
Nothing breaking. But Yeah, another reason I'm pulling for the Rams here is I brought up Eric Weddle. It would just be such a cool story for
Mhm,
him. I
yeah.
mean, coming out of retirement, getting a ring and then going back off and eating ice cream on the couch, like you said. He's such a good dude.
Mhm.
Yeah, and for Vaughn too, another good dude. Leonard Floyd, of course, played with Eddie. So that's the three connections that I have. That I'm rooting for those guys. It'd be cool to see them get a ring. I hate to see Stafford get one, but if that's the consequence, whatever. I'll deal with that. I'll settle for that.
So the
Another guy, Cooper Cup, deserves it. I mean, just the season
uh,
he had.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
they deserve it. This as a team, they do.
yeah,
McVay too.
and I believe like I hate to say this, the Bengals are going to make some noise to years to come.
No question. Yeah,
I mean,
no question about it.
so picking because I'm picking the Bengals in points, right? Because they're gonna thing, and I just think that this is going to show the NFL that maybe they need to lax the offensive rules a little bit and make defense kind of.
I think they've done that enough.
Dude,
The rules are all geared towards the offense.
I mean, some of these calls. So it's funny you say because I was like watching replays of certain games and everything. I'm like, when it's very tight, they call it for the offense. Always call it for the offense, like a pass interference. And you're like, most 9 times out of 10 to let them play. And now I think what the league needs to do, besides the Rooney Rule, is to look at the referees. They need to seriously look at the referees and be like, hey, because they changed. I mean, they literally changed the game between the Bengals and the Cleveland. I'm sorry,
And
the Bengals and the Raiders. They clearly changed that game, even though I was going for the Bengals. But here nor there, because you want to see good football, and if the referees are prohibiting good football, they need to be looked at because it ruins the fun and in the enjoyment of watching it. And I hope and I pray to God that the Super Bowl is not like that. I just pray to God.
Well, they do need to take a look at the officiating, but as I touched on a previous show, they're not going to, and you know why? Because it's not about a level playing field. It's not about fair competition. It's about what's best for the Shield. Period.
Yeah.
And they steer things toward their desired outcome, and that's how it goes. That's how it has gone. That's how it's always going to go. If we're looking for fairness, you probably have to go to youth sports, but who knows if some of those refs are getting paid off because some overzealous parents. Who knows if any level of sports competition is fair? Because in college you have gambling, so who knows who's in what refs' pockets? You just gotta you have to boil it down to entertainment. Are you entertained by the games? Yes. Okay, keep watching. Are you not entertained? No. Tune out then. I'm entertained, so I'll keep watching.
Yeah.
Despite the racial stuff, despite everything else, it's entertaining. It's something to do on a Sunday. So you keep watching.
That's true. And what is going to be your Super Bowl platter? I would say your spread to eat and to dine.
Being that I'm on my diet here, and we're going to be in Colorado too, so we probably won't do it up too much. We'll be sitting home by ourselves. Might have a smoothie or something, but that's about it. What would normally be on the on the menu would be pizza, mozzarella sticks, definitely some beer. But there won't be any of that stuff this year because I'm gonna drop. So my wedding anniversary is on March 30th, and my goal is to be down back to the wedding weight by March 30th. To do that, I'm not going to say the number, but I got to lose like a human being to get back there. So I'm gonna make it happen though. So yeah, so it's gonna be a different menu this year.
Nice, very nice. Well, for me, I have to use up the jalapeno dips that I got for things. So I'm gonna have that and a bunch of chips and and whatever comes. I'm so bad. I'm so bad.
Hey,
but
you get a cheat day. One cheat day.
one cheat day out of the month. So that probably will be my cheat day or cheat meal. I'll probably have a cheat meal. There you go. Like a cheat meal. I want to have a cheat day. I'll have a cheat meal. So I'll be good from morning till the evening. The evening will be my cheat meal. So I can digest it in the morning. So but that's going to probably be maybe have some like some cheese balls or something with RT going to make, and then some maybe some like some sort of something else to eat. I don't know. So far away that I don't even know what we're going to have. Maybe some salad. Who knows? Just to equal out the badness.
Yeah, something.
But
hey, maybe I can't guarantee we can do another show this week before the game, but you never know. There might be some big news in the NBA or something we want to jump on and talk about as the week progresses, or even before the game. Maybe Chris might want to get on and talk about the game or something. Who knows what might come up? If we get some time, we might jump on and do one before the game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Saturday after we get there and get settled in, or maybe even Sunday before the game. Who knows? This is just play it by ear. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But if not, at least we got this one in and talk about it all, and then next week we'll do our thing as always. So.
Yeah. So I mean, you want to wrap this up because it's kind of like kind of getting.
Yeah. Like we brought up earlier, maybe we'll have a special guest too next week. I'll see how that all plays out too. Plan it by ear. We'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you for jumping in with us. Like, subscribe, support, spread the word. We're going to keep it going no matter what, whether you do or you don't. But we're going to be here for you. Thank y'all for joining us and Talking Hats, and we are out.
Peace and love, all.